Welcome to Centre Court with thanks to OMF. Kick back and relax with an adjustable bed from Australian design and owned OMF. Watch sport your way. And of course, Cobram Estate, Australia's most awarded extra virgin olive oil. Grown, harvested and first cold pressed in Northern Victoria. I'm Bianca Chatfield and I've got a new co-host for you this week. It is Melbourne Mavericks and England Roses superstar Eleanor Cardwell. Welcome to the desk.
Thanks for having me.
I mean, Fox Netball commentary yesterday, now you're at the desk today. How are you feeling being on this side of it all?
Oh, I feel very corporate.
It's good to see you wear your blazer, I like it.
I know. I'm always in my netball gear, so it's nice to put on some own clothes for a change.
Well, you know what? Let's suss out what happened in round 10 because it was a very big round in Super Netball. Lots of what I think people will think are upsets. So let's get into the OMF overview. Watch sport your way. If we take a look at the ladder, of course, the Swifts, they got beaten by the Vixens. However, they still just stay there at the top. The Fever had a not so convincing win against the Mavericks. The Mavericks certainly challenged them. But unfortunately for the Mavericks, you can see them just dropping a little bit further down that ladder.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. We need to win the next few games to really push up that ladder. Finals is still alive. We need to win every single game now and hope that Leavers lose. So
there's a few losers up the top there.
We need it to go our way.
And we have to mention, of course, the Giants. They've gone now from bottom up into that 6th position after taking down the Sunshine Coast Lightning. Now, they didn't just take them down. They absolutely smashed them. And in that third quarter especially, they shot 23 goals.
Honestly. Immense. They were actually on fire, all of them. And
when it just clicks, right? It just clicks. I mean, the Vixens are probably an example of that, beating the Swifts, in that other than several, 8 out of 9 super shots for Helen Housby, the whole team really chipped in to get that win.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, as you see, Joe, I think, scored 36 out of 37. And then Dwyer, she scored 32 goals. So they're really sharing the load in that shooting space. And that just helps because the defenders just... They don't. Who do they tackle?
You can't double up on anybody. Well, you talk about Dwyer. Let's take a look at our team of the week because she is in there in that goal attack position for her enormous numbers that she was putting up there. Sophie Garvin, of course, had a stellar game. Standout for me, Laddie Wilson. The Thunderbirds were really tested by the Firebirds, but Laddie Wilson, some of her stats for you. She had 9 gains, 2 rebounds, 3 intercepts, 10 deflections, especially in that first half. It was basically Laddie Wilson, no offence Thunderbirds, it was Laddie Wilson up against the Firebirds. But they did all come into play in that end to get the win. Who's a standout for you?
I think Dwyer for me is a standout. I think that was probably her best game of the season so far. Her NIS and net points were all the way up and she was just sharing the load with everyone around her, playing to her strengths, which I don't think we've really seen this season. So it was really nice. She didn't actually score any super shots, which is pretty strange for her, but they didn't need it.
No.
Well, Joe was obviously taking the load in the super shots, but yeah.
Actually, let's get some insight from you while you're here because you obviously have played with Jo Harten. You know what she's like. You know, I think she played a real pivotal game in that we haven't seen her play a lot of minutes. She played a full game. But tell me about what she's like and how she brings in a goal attack.
Yeah, she is constantly wanting the goal attack to do a lot of work. I think she would actually rather the goal attack to score more goals than her. She's a game maker. She wants to fire the ball straight through to underneath the post. She's just wanting the spectacular passes and, as soon as Joe's going to get that ball outside the circle, you got to be ready.
Yeah, you can't take your eyes off it because she loves, all the tricky stuff. Defenders hate that, but you can understand why because she can always get it straight under the post where she wants it. So it's great to see the Giants getting that win. Well, that was the OMF overview. Kick back and relax with an adjustable bed from Australian design and owned OMF. Watch sport your way. Now, we really have the perfect co-host for this segment, the Mavericks home game, which means it's time for Mavs Corner. Let's take a look at the reserves highlights.
McDonald's, and she's just put substitution box there. Curious to see if Laura Parkinson will come back on. She was start of the game. McDonald wide, and beautiful work from Montana Holmes. Great front positioning there from Jessie Grenville. That is definitely one for the highlights reel. In the 2, directly lining on to goal, and she'll get the super shot. I didn't quite realise she's fully off court. Sometimes, and how about that for Millie Roach? saw her from... Look to go. Look from distance. Wow, that's a super shot to start us off. So we see potentially a Sasha McDonald as she sinks down. Into the sink. And that is the pick up that net across the other side. McDonald had to look twice before releasing that ball in.
Yeah, really, really well. I would say, excellent intercept from Lauren Parkinson there.
And that's what you in defence. Beautiful ball there from Parkinson, picked up by Davies. More talented players in Australia. Speaking rise at the top of the two. And how about that finish from their captain? Just allowed Van Wyck to get the clean intercept. And a beautiful overhead ball into McDonald. Looking to go in, long searching ball. McDonald with that little front sweep split. I know of rejection on the shot from Landrigan. In goal defence, now on a wing defence. Jamie Podmore-Taylor for the Giants. Tailhocking. And beautiful work there. How about that from the Mavericks? Otai from distance. And Otai now with her third attempt. She had 2 consecutive misses. Little! Well, that is massive from Audrey Little. And that's beautiful vision from Montana Holmes. The Melbourne Mavericks will be safely in the best hands possible, having ensured 100% win rate at Waverley Netball Centre.
Well, there you have it, some of the Super Netball reserves. Now, the Mavericks and the Fever both go into the grand final. That is happening next weekend. Now, Al, we had some shot of the Mavericks team there watching. Yeah. The reserves, you were out there. Tell me what it was like.
Yeah, it was a really good game. It was, we went to the first game versus Swifts, and it was very back and forth, the goal for goal, probably up until the second half really, and the Mavs just took it away and Swifts had no response really, and there was a few highlights. Montana Holmes played an incredible game. She was really steady in the middle. We had Jessie Grenfell come back from playing for SSN Mavs, and she was getting in steps at Alvarez.
She's having a phenomenal season, isn't she? The minute she's got out on the SSN court.
Yeah, she really is. And that's just, her training this year has reached a new level. So it's lovely to see that having an impact on the court now, because we see it every single week in training. She's been incredible this season. And then Millie in the goal shooter position looked like she weren't going to miss, to be honest with you. She was sinking twos, her holds were really strong. It was lovely to see. And
Loz Parkinson is another name. Obviously, she's been through an enormous rehab with that injury. She's been playing in the reserves. How, can you give us a time? Do you think she's ready? Has she played enough court time to maybe have a crack at SSN this season?
As she would say, this is embargoed. No, we don't like to put a time on it because it's been so long, and it's a lot of pressure to put a week on it. So she's doing really, really well. She's obviously coming back and now playing some reserves and getting a touch back again. And it was lovely to see, especially in the last quarter in the reserves game. She was coming out for intercepts. She was getting tips and hand to the ball. So
no date, but the main thing is she's back out playing netball, which is great to see. She's such a great person, great athlete, great team person also to have with the Mavericks. It's time now for the good oil, thanks to Cobram Estate Australian Extra Virgin Olive Oil. Now, this is where we bring some news, or what we think is newsworthy. And one thing that I think was a real standout in the game we did yesterday, Al, with the Swifts and the Vixens, was Helen Housby. So if we paint a picture of her game beforehand, she was okay. Jo Weston was having a big battle against her. She was at one stage, I think, averages 83.1 net points a game, and she was sitting at 1.5, and that was really low for Helen. She was just in a real tug of war with Jo Weston. However, in the last quarter, I think Vixens at one stage had a lead by 10, and Helen Housby really came to play. 8 from 9 super shots, and you could just see the Vixens tense up, couldn't you? They were like, how do we save and hang on to this lead as it was getting diminished goal by goal from Housby? Yeah. I mean, when you sit back and watch her, someone you've played so much netball with, what are your thoughts?
Well, you just know if Helen's on the opposite team, you know you can never relax. Like, you can never, ever relax. You know she's got the fight. That's been in her game since I've known her, since she's like 16 years old. She's always had the grit, the fight for every single ball up until the last whistle. So I knew that she was going to come out fighting in those super shots. I mean, as soon as she got the ball in her hand, we're just like, it's going in. You may as well not watch it.
The defence will just like, oh no, here we go again.
Yeah, honestly, she's unbelievable.
Oh, brilliant performance from Housby in that final quarter, but probably even better was the Vixens that they got to hold on to that win after doing all the work and being basically in front the entire game. That was the good oil, thanks to Cobram Estate, Australia's most awarded extra virgin olive oil, grown, harvested and first cold pressed in northern Victoria. Time now for the local legends, all thanks to CRT. Farming starts with CRT. This week we hear from Madeline Van Potteren, who plays for Lockington Netball Club. Now, Lockington, Sherelle McMahon used to play up there. Let's take a listen.
Hello, my name's Maddie. I'm from Echuca, Malama. I play at the Lockington Football Netball Club, and I've just wrapped up my season at Echuca Netball District, and I play wing defence, goal defence and goalkeeper. Funny, fun and encouraging. My pre-game ritual will be pumping tunes in the car with Dad. To keep going, have my head up the whole time, no matter what's going on with the scores or what the time is. Even though I play defence, you could chuck me into an attacking position and I'll give it a red hot crack. Probably having a Pepsi Max after the game and some hot chippies. Wing defence, because it's a new position to me and I've enjoyed it so much this year. And I love having my teammates alongside me. An empty Polaroid camera that's been sitting there for 6 months.
Maddie, what a ripper. I just love getting out into all of our local clubs and hearing what they're doing. One thing I loved is she loves having a red hot crack, and you can throw her in attack and then she's happy to have a crack down the other end of the court. Were you like that growing up? Did you play multiple positions?
Do you know what? I was a sole defender back in the day. Only in defence, and it was only until later years I was stuck in shooter.
I wouldn't say stuck, that's where all the glory is, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Maddie, for sending that in, and that was Local Legends. No matter where you live or what you farm, it starts with CRT. Now, looking ahead to round 11, we are going to spotlight the Firebirds coming up against the Mavericks. Now, this is happening up in Queensland. Obviously, both teams need a win. Both teams really are going to fight it out, and whoever loses may end up on that bottom of the ladder, or will end up on the bottom of the ladder. Last time this game was played was down in Tassie, and your side, the Mavericks, were pretty red hot from the start. They really took this game on. And I know starts have been something the Mavs have been working on, but against the Firebirds, they just went out strong. Shimona Jock was awesome. My memories from that game was just absolutely fangirling Liv Lewis and her blocks on Mary Chollock from behind. Like, no one else has been able to replicate that, so I'm so intrigued if we'll see some of that. Was she practicing that at training beforehand?
I feel like Liv's always practicing that. She has incredible hops, so the fact that she could get onto Mary's shot was immense, and I think once she'd got one, the confidence was high, and she's going in for it every single time.
So what do you think the Mavericks need to do against the Firebirds? They obviously really took it up to the Thunderbirds last week. What do you think is going to be important for your side to get the win?
I think it's just the confidence in what they're doing. They've shown that they can beat Firebirds, so they need to just use that and keep building momentum. And as you said, the start is so important for us. So we need to go from the first whistle and keep those comms going throughout the whole game. And it's going to be a really good game.
I know, the Mavs, they may have lost to West Coast Fever, but my goodness, didn't they put up a fight? And it's probably the best, most consistent netball we have seen from your side, I think, all season. So hopefully that will continue on. Well, it's time now for the Strutty Social Scoop. Strutty's netball apparel designed for the next generation of superstars. Style meets performance at struttys.com.au. Now, this week we have a question from Emily. Now, I'm going to throw this one to you, Al. What has changed with the Giants? They've had 2 massive wins. We all probably rode them off to say, they've got no chance of getting near the finals. But second half of the season, they have been showing us something completely different. How much of an impact do you think Casey Copperwatt has been having on that side?
Yeah, I think she's had a huge impact. Obviously, they've had the loss of Jodie Ann Ward, which is extremely sad, and I'm hoping all the recovery is going really well. But I think having the experience and the leadership and the voice in that defensive end has really helped. It's helped O'Brien get into her game, and she's been having great games the last 2 games. So I think it's all been coming together. They have the structures there. It was just putting into place, and they've come away. And I think with that builds confidence throughout the whole court. The fact that if they lose a ball, then the likelihood of them winning it back is going to be a bit higher. So and then that builds with Jo. Jo's probably got a bit more support with the leadership.
Totally.
And she's been on fire especially this last game. So I reckon a lot of it is to Casey.
Yeah, I agree. And you're right about the leadership. They've got Jamie Lee Price, who can run the show in the middle. They've got Jo Harton up the other end of the court, and now Casey Copperwood. Because even we could see on the commentary that she is like just guiding them, just simply, giving them a bit of belief in the fact that you go there, I've got your back, I'll move here. And Erin O'Brien, what a revolution she's been going out to goal defence. We saw her so much at goalkeeper for the year, so even just allowing her to be able to swing out there. I mean, you look at Erin O'Brien now and you think, should she be in the Diamond squad? That's how well she's been playing. So potentially, if it's not this season and she continues it on, it will be next season, I think. So thanks, Emily, for sending that in. Let's see what the next few games have in store for the Giants. That was our social scoop, all thanks to Strutty's innovating netball apparel. Well done, Elle, on your first episode of Centre Court. I know we've had you on as a guest before, but great to have you as a co-host. Thank you also to OMF, Watch Sport Your Way, and Cobram Estate, Australia's extra virgin olive oil. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.